Well, hello there. How's everybody doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Before we get started, I like to get right down to it. So we'll do a little bit of chit chat. Love to know where you're viewing from. Put that in the comments, please. And I've got a couple of housekeeping announcements. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to dive right into this presentation. I know a lot of you have been waiting for today's content because today is when I pull back the curtain and I show you like our whole framework for hiring. Hey, Isabel Baker. Hey, Joy in Oklahoma, and Les in Alberta, St. Paul, New Jersey, Nairobi, Kenya. Okay. Magdalene, what time is it there? Amazing. You got to love the internet. I swear. It never loses its wonder for me. I'm still amazed by the fax machine. Do you know what I mean? Like the fact that you could stick a piece of paper in Ohio and then it comes out the other side at the same time in Hong Kong. I think it's amazing. And here we are, like everybody from all over the world. Like it wasn't that long ago when we could not do this. We couldn't just go live. Like I'm like Tom Brokaw right now. Tom Brokaw did not have this kind of bandwidth when he was on the air. Do you know what I mean? I'm sure he did not. So just from, even if I could do this from my phone and still have more bandwidth. I just think it's amazing. Hello, Ontario and Milwaukee. Hey, Steve. Texas. Hey, Candace. Okay. So here's the thing, you guys. We got a couple of housekeeping things and then we'll get to it. First of all, did you grab your coffee? And if you didn't, make sure you do it right after this webinar because, poor Tom, make sure you do it because it's going to expire at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We sent you the email at 6 a.m. this morning. Check your email. If you did not get the email, that means you're not signed up for the workshop. So make sure you do that at ceosecrets.com. And then you'll get also invited into our community, our party, basically, where we're discussing all the things all day, every day about hiring and training. And that's also where the code lives for your coffee if you didn't get the email. Oh, thank you for posting that on the Facebook page. I'll go check that out, Noala. It's 6 p.m. in South Africa. So yeah, so as long as Starbucks is open before 8, the card is global. Yeah, I love it. So no Starbucks in Kenya. We don't have Starbucks in the city where I live, says Philip. A bummer. All right, we'll pretend. And when I see you in person, I'll buy you a cup of coffee, okay, or tea, whatever your thing is. Mine is matcha. That's like a new thing for me. Okay, that's housekeeping thing number 1. Number 2, if people, those of you who have been attending all of these webinars, thank you. This is our 3rd one in a series of 3. If you missed them, don't worry. We're going to keep the replays up for a day or 2, so you'll have a chance to catch up. And we'll put a link to that in the chat and up to the screen on the screen where you can grab the replays. There were some, I think, very valuable homework exercises and some tools that I shared that you're going to want to check out. But when you were on those calls, I have gotten a lot of messages from people who told me that they have been solicited by other people in the training, like friend requesting them, and then turns out they're like VAs or they have an agency, which, I can't blame people for being, I don't know, what's the word, strategic. Like, if there's a whole pool of people who are interested in hiring VAs and you're a VA and they're all gathered together, we're like, it's going to happen. Right. But I just want you to know these people, you will never hear from my team in that fashion. We're not going to solicit you in the DMs. We do sometimes chat with you in the DMs. Like if you've sent us if you want to chat with us, send us a friend request. And if you see a friend request from us, that's because you've said something or asked something or something where we're trying to message you to help you. Okay. So if you see a friend request from us and that's the reason we friend request you, is so that you see the message. Because if you're not friends with someone, they go into like the other folder. But if you are someone who is soliciting others, don't do that. Like it's kind of tacky. What else? Gift cards. We're going to do what we've done the last 2 days. We're going to reward you for engaging with us in the chat. That means like, just talking with us. It makes it more fun. It keeps everybody else more engaged. So the more active you are in the chat, the most active 2 people are going to get a $25 Amazon gift certificate today. And what else on my notes? I'm going to make sure I don't forget anything. I've got this is how I remember things. And then at the end of the training today, I am going to tell you about our program, Front Row CEO. But we've got lots of stuff to cover before we get there. So let's jump in. Hello, California. Yeah, Shonda said you got friend requested. So I'm sorry about that. It just happens sometimes. Okay, and we are going to make sure and mute the phone. Kind of a rookie mistake. Sorry. Okay, here we go. Let me share the screen. All right, now we're cooking. Okay, so welcome. If this is your first masterclass and you haven't been to the other two this week, my name is Jen Lehner and I am founder of the Front Row VIP Mastermind and the Front Row CEO System, which you're going to hear about at the end of this presentation. And first thing I want to do is congratulate you, because the simple fact that you are watching this right now tells me that you're ready to take a big step forward and show up in your business as the CEO that you set out to be. And there's a good chance you never ever thought of yourself as a CEO anyway. You probably thought of yourself as a business owner or the president or, whatever you call yourself. But most people, small entrepreneurs don't have CEO in their signature. After today, I hope you put that there. I do. I hope you look at yourself like the CEO that you are. And maybe you're here because you're tired of spinning your wheels to get traction, or maybe your business is doing awesome, but the 12-hour days just are not sustainable. And you realize that you can't burn out and break through to the next level at the same time. But either way, I know you're here because you're ready to make a bigger impact and create some space in your life. And for those of you who have been with us the last 2 days, you are going to see some repeat of what we've covered, but we do have a lot of people who are joining us who didn't catch all that. And we're just going to do a quick review of stuff. So I just want to give you a heads up on that. Okay. I know you're ready to let go of the stuff that you don't like doing and do more of the stuff that you love to do. And I also know that this training is going to be so powerful for you because it is designed for you. It is exactly for where you are right now. But before we dig in, we have to talk about something that is really critically important. And if you do not pay attention to this, you're basically guaranteed to stay stuck exactly where you are. Okay. There are 3 really important trends that are happening all around us right now. The first one is that the world has never seen an explosion of entrepreneurship like we're seeing right now. And that's awesome. Okay. I mean, I don't know. COVID has a lot to do with that, but there is an explosion. And what's not so awesome, though, is that there is a correlation of a second trend, which is an increase in anxiety and depression and burnout among entrepreneurs. And the only way to make sure that the first trend doesn't turn into the second trend is to recognize and take advantage of a third trend. And that is the growth of a massive global educated, skilled workforce, which I also think we can tie back to COVID, because we're not those of us in the United States and the UK, we're not the only ones who are experiencing this big quit, where everybody's leaving the workforce because they want to work from home and they want to be remote. We're not the only ones. So you've got this massive pool of people who want to work remotely and they're super duper skilled. Okay. Now, I want you to think about an entrepreneur who you admire. You know what? I'm looking at this graphic and I'm laughing because it's like, does that hand belong to Gary Vaynerchuk? Or does it belong to Bethany? It's just kind of funny the way I think it belongs to Gary Vaynerchuk, and Bethany's just along for the ride there on the side. Anyway, think of somebody that you admire. It might not be these 3 people. Think of someone, and then an entrepreneur, someone who's crushing it, and then ask yourself, do they have help? Of course they have help. And here's the thing. Before you go, oh, Jen, they have help because they're rich and they're famous and they're successful. No. Most of these entrepreneurs understood very early on that in order to be successful, they needed they needed help and they needed to do it sooner rather than later. And what you're going to understand is that no matter where you are in your business right now, whether you're just starting out or you've been at it for a while, this is completely doable and possible for you. So here's the question. I love her. We're all ambitious, smart, driven people, right? So why in the heck haven't we done this yet? So this is what I call the visionary paradox. We talked about this on day one. If you're anything like I was, or most of my students and my clients, probably the honeymoon phase of your business has faded and you're faced with the stark reality that this isn't exactly everything that you thought it was going to be. Maybe you started your business because you're a marketer and you started a marketing agency, or you're an artist, so you decided to teach people how to paint. And then suddenly you realized that you're only spending about 30% of your time being the expert at your craft, because there's a whole bunch more to it, right? There are funnels to create and emails to write and webinars to set up and Facebook ads to run and graphics to create, like so many things. Okay. So I want to talk about this very real scenario that I bet the majority of you in here can relate to. This is something that happened to me recently, or that used to happen to me actually all the time, because I am an AppSumo junkie. I'm a little better now, but like, put in the chat if you know what AppSumo is and you also love AppSumo. If you're on AppSumo more than you need to be, let me know in the chat. And if you don't know what AppSumo is, I apologize now. Joanne's a junkie. No idea. Okay, so appsumo.com. I apologize. And also I say you're welcome, because it really is cool. AppSumo is just, they have fantastic apps for productivity and running your business and like everything. And they offer these great like lifetime deals and super duper discounts, right? So the email hits your inbox and it'll say like, most robust CRM ever, put on God's green earth. And it's like, today, get it from AppSumo, lifetime, $37. So you go over there, right? And you find that tool that's going to help you in your business. And then you remember when you get there, you're like, I think I already purchased this. And then you think, but did I redeem it? Because that's step number 1 or 2 with AppSumo. Like after you buy it, you buy it and then you have to go find it. And then you have to redeem it. And if you don't redeem it, it expires. And it's like, too bad, so sad. Like you lose it, right? Amy loves AppSumo. Okay. So then you think, well, maybe I did. Maybe I did redeem it. I don't see it here. I must have used a different email address. Okay. So then you log in with that email address, but you've forgotten the password. And so then you do a password reset. And then 2 hours later, you finally get inside the software, but you got to figure out now how to use it. And now it's time for lunch and half your day is gone, right? This is an absolute realistic scenario. I know this because I've lived it, right? And we've all had days like that. But the problem is when those days turn into weeks and those weeks turn into months, and it's just not sustainable to run a business that way. It is a tormenting cycle that you're in. And I know it all too well because like I said, I lived it myself. For the first 2 years in business, I was a solopreneur doing every single solitary thing myself. And the thing is, I kind of enjoyed a lot of it because I was good at those things. I personally am good at tech and social media and all of that stuff. So I could do most of those things. But then I realized that I was absolutely stuck inside my business. I was gaining really very little traction. How could I? Without help, chaos was always around the corner for me. I always just thought if I could do it, I should do it. It just didn't make any sense for me to hire anybody, but then it hit me. And I hope it hits you too. I could do it, but that's not what people are paying me for. That is not what is making money for me in my business. That would be like the chef seating the guests and cooking the food and washing the dishes and waiting on the tables and bussing the tables and doing the marketing and processing the payments. Like it's ridiculous, right? Or the doctor. Can you imagine if your doctor, it was like, oh, let me check you in. Let me take your vitals. Let me weigh you. Let me send you a bill. Let me then also examine you. No, of course, it's ridiculous. And Diane says, yeah, anxiety makes me fear like I've never makes for fear like I've never known before. Absolutely. Who wants to live in fear? It's awful. So do you like my mechanics outfit? This is from a marketing campaign, like early on in my business. It was for a course called Marketing Mechanics, which I thought was kind of clever. And you see how I have all the social media pillows in there. But honestly, I paid for this photo shoot, so I'm going to keep using. I'm going to keep using this photo and find clever ways to tie it into my content. So I realized that if 90% of my days were spent as a technician or actually as an administrative assistant, then I was an administrative assistant, not a CEO, not a visionary, not a creator. Again, nothing wrong with being an administrative assistant. That's just not what I'm open my business to be, right? That wasn't part of the plan. So the point that I'm making here is very clear. If you don't have an assistant, it means that you are the assistant. It's just a fact. And that's when I finally decided to hire my first virtual assistant. And that's also when everything began to change in my business. Now, I will admit that it took a while for me to get over the fear of thinking that I wasn't profitable enough, because I wasn't profitable, by the way, that there was no way I was going to be able to afford a virtual assistant, that I would not have enough work for them to do, that I wouldn't even know where to start once I had a virtual assistant. But once I got over all of that and I just made the big jump, that's when everything started to change. And I really started to see massive growth. Again, photo shoot, had to use it. You know what I mean? Like all these pictures of me, but I never, they're here. Okay. So within just a couple of months, I have my social media responsibilities handed off to my virtual assistant. Also, my scheduling, my content repurposing, my new client onboarding, my email inbox. Oh, yes, ma'am, you can do that. Yes, sir. Customer service inquiries, and all of the text for all the webinars and all of that stuff. So it was like cutting cinder blocks off of my arms, I felt so light and free and excited. And I was finally able to step into my business each day and work on the stuff that counts, work on the stuff that I love. All right. Suki says these sessions have hit home in a way that I have been my own assistant for way too long. You are not alone. So someone says here, I'm sorry, I can't see your name. I have the budget and long-term budget to work with a VA. I just find it really difficult to find a new one. Well, that's why you're here today. Find a good one, that is. And that's why you're here today, because there are wonderful VAs out there, and it is all about how to find them. Okay. So fast forward to now. I spend each and every day, about 90% of the day, working on my business, not in my business. I'm not going to say I don't have some of those AppSumo days here and there, because come on, it's a hard habit to break. I still like to play over there and that stuff. But that's a choice. That's a luxury now that I can make. I can do that because everything else is happening. I have a community called The Front Row, in a podcast, in an Alexa Flash briefing, and a private mastermind by that same name. So basically, I use it in all my branding, because the philosophy of living life on the front row is something I really take into every single thing that I do. I believe in it like metaphorically and also very literally. Like I sit in the front row of every class that I'm in. Are you a front row person, or do you sit by the back door, like ready to make a run for it? I just kind of think when you're front row, you're all in, you're all in and you're ready to soak things up. You see things first. People see you first. Like it's a mindset thing. But anyway, I think this picture perfectly captures what it means to be a CEO living on the front row. So Joanne sits in the front row too. And here's the other thing. So if I sat next to Joanne in the front row, I bet you anything we would get on great, because front row people who sit on the front row, they're movers and shakers and go-getters, right? They're all about like squeezing all the juice out of life. And so I always find the coolest people on the front row. I cannot tell you, podcast guests and joint venture opportunities and so many cool things that have happened in my life just by literally sitting on the front row. And at the end, I'm going to tell you how I actually even got paid sitting on the front row. I got a $100 bill just because I was on the front row, but I won't tell you that now because I want to stay focused. Anyway, this picture, you don't get much more front row than the edge of the ocean, right? I did not have a care at all about what was happening in the rest of my business at that moment, because my VAs were not only holding down the fort, things were humming along beautifully. Clients were being cared for, emails were being sent, content was being created. Now, I'm not saying like get a VA so you can go on vacation. It looks like I'm on vacation. I'm not on vacation in that picture. I'm actually hosting a retreat. Women came from all over the world to meet me on Isle of Palm, South Carolina, in Charleston, and we had this amazing retreat. So I was we're doing double duty. I've got business happening back home, but I've got business happening on this end. So this is what it looks like to have your hands freed up so you can make more money and really grow your business. I would never have been able to do this if I couldn't leave everything else behind and trust that it was taken care of. I also had time to conjure up a plan to go after some really big names for my podcast, like James Altucher and Seth Godin and Gary Vaynerchuk. And I was able to create a high-end group coaching program and host luxury retreats like the one that I just showed you. And I developed a physical product. It's a planner. You're going to see that in a little while. Exciting joint venture partnership opportunities, all the things that really moved the needle in my business. And so I did it quickly because it was always on my list. It was always like, I want to do this, but I can't because I got to go back here and set up connect lead pages to Webinar Jam. If y'all have been at it a while, if you know those tools and know what I'm talking about. But anyway, in my personal life, I could leave my laptop at home. This was also like such a huge bonus. Speaking of vacation, I could take a vacation without worry. I could spend real quality time with my family without the nagging feeling that something is getting missed. We keep getting sold this whole laptop lifestyle, digital nomad. Like, no, I don't want that. I don't want to take my laptop on vacation. I used to think that was such a cool idea. And it is cool that, like, if you need to, you could jump on and be there remotely. But no, I want to just close up the laptop. And I just wish I could have done this when my kids were littler, because it was too much time with me glued to that stupid thing, thinking I was being present for my kids. But I wasn't. I was there physically, but my eyeballs and my brain were plugged into the laptop. So for the first time, I could tell people that I had a business and actually believe what I was saying. Can I get an amen on that? Because it's kind of imposter syndrome a little bit, but it's different. It's like you go to wherever you are, you're at your kid's open house or their baseball game or a cocktail party, like wherever, and you're having a conversation and it comes up like, what do you do? And you say, I have my own business. But don't you secretly kind of feel like if you could see what's really going on back here, it's not really a business. I'm just kind of winging something. I don't know. Some days I make money. Sometimes I don't make money. I mean, yeah, because I get it. Like that was 1,000% me. Yes, the Lone Ranger syndrome does make you feel less legit. Great stuff here in the chat, you guys. Okay, so the purpose of this training is twofold. First, to show you the pathway to freedom, the freedom to focus on the things that move the needle in your business. And second, to give you clarity around the processes and frameworks that you need in order to scale your business. So to be clear, when I say scale, I mean more than just make money, okay? I mean make more money routinely and systematically, whether you're there or you're not there, which in return creates space for more experiences that bring you joy in life. And as much as possible, we are shooting for a self-managing company. If you haven't read the book, E-Myth by Michael, why can I not ever remember his name? Michael, I know y'all are going to know, tell me in the chat. And I've got it right over here. God, the E-Myth. You got to read it. It's a must read. Michael Gerber. Thank you, Shonda. Michael Gerber, the E-Myth. Everything that I'm about to share with you is the exact plan that I followed to become the CEO in my own business, to kick that struggling solopreneur to the curb and to double my revenue every year since. Right now, I'm going to show you how to remove the bottlenecks that are standing between you and where you are now and where you want to go, so you never show up that way in your business again. No more winging it and flying by the seat of your pants and feeling all alone through it all. And by the end of our time together, you're going to understand exactly what you need to do to finally scale your business and step into the role of being the visionary leader and CEO so that you can finally experience this freedom that I keep talking about. So let's get into it. There are 3 things you absolutely need in order to go from struggling solopreneur to CEO. And the first one is systems to scale. I love this graphic. I'm going to pause here. So thanks for putting that link there to the book, Camille. I appreciate that. Screenshot that if you want to, if you've never seen it. If you're an entrepreneur, like I don't know anybody who cannot relate to this. I'm excited. Oh, this is hard. It's working. I messed up. Give up the good for the great. I think I'm going bankrupt. I'm good. I don't know why I'm so down on myself. I was wrong. I suck. Wait a second. My life is great. Like this is so very true. And when you're deep inside your business, the day to day of it, the ins and outs of it, it is really easy to lose sight of the big picture. Habits set in, or worse, nothing takes root. No 2 days are the same. No 2 weeks look the same. But the truth is entrepreneurs tend to be kind of scrappy, right? We will figure it out. Like we're resourceful. Like that kind of comes in with the package. But the fact of the matter is busy work with an endless to-do list is a vicious cycle that leads to demotivation, which leads to lack of energy and passion, which causes burnout, which ultimately stalls or halts results entirely. So, okay, just so you know, this is my all-time favorite meme or GIF in the entire world. I use it all the time. I just love this little girl's face. I mean, it just says everything. But if you allow the cycle to become your reality, you'll never be the CEO in your business. Those are the darkest days of entrepreneurship, right? When you wonder why the heck you're even doing this. You question every decision and you see other people making more progress than you. It gets rough. And so don't look at other people's progress. Like PS, if you're scrolling or you're on somebody's email list and you find yourself feeling bad or less than, like you need to unsubscribe. We talked about that this week. But eventually, at some point, reality sets in and you have to face the fact that you are truly shortchanging yourself. And you eventually come to the understanding that to be successful, you can't be bogged down in the tasks that you know should be automated, delegated, or deleted. To continue this way is not aligned with the vision that you set for yourself in your business. Successful CEOs overcome this problem with systemization by creating systems to scale. Now, you've probably noticed that people throw that word scale around left or right. It's a buzzword these days, leverage and scaling. I mean, problem is like they're good words, and they help us to understand what we're trying to say. There's all sorts of advice out there, though. Grow your email list to scale. Make more sales calls to scale your business. Duh, like, of course, that's going to grow your business if you make more sales calls. And none of that is bad advice. It's all true. Like there are all sorts of like different ways to scale your business. But if you don't insist on building your business based on a foundation of systems and support, it's like trying to build a house on sand. It's just not going to work. So secret number 1, not such a secret, systems to scale. The first and most important systems to create are the ones that ensure that you're leveraging your time and productivity so that each and every day your focus is on your highest value tasks. And you do this consistently every day without fail. How do you do that? Well, those of you who've been in the workshop, you know about this exercise, but again, I need to review it for our newbies. The first thing we have to do is take inventory of the tasks that you're actually doing each day. So in order to take inventory, you're just going to simply take a piece of paper, or this list that you see is in your workbook, you guys. Everything I'm talking about today is in your workbook. And we'll put a link. There's the link on the screen. If you haven't gotten your workbook yet, every single thing is in there. Okay. So we're just going to breeze through this, but it would be good for you to go back and do these exercises. But you can use a piece of paper, or you can use the list that we've given you and just do a brain dump of every single thing you do in your business. Don't judge yourself like I should or should not be doing it. Just everything that you do, good or bad, put it all on the list. Okay. And then we're going to break it into categories using the Eisenhower matrix. Okay. And we did this on day 1. So Again, this is also in the workbook. Okay. But for now, I just want you to focus on what I'm about to show you so you can really understand the process of how this works. Because if you get this next bit right, watch how everything falls into place. Okay. So, real quickly, you've seen this before in Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So Carly says, I did this on day 1. I keep adding to this list. So many things. It's nice to see all in one place. Okay. So yeah, this is really great. Keep this handy because what we're looking at is 4 quadrants. Okay. President Eisenhower invented this. Stephen Covey made it famous. We've got in the top right, these are things that are not urgent, but are important. And to the left of that, the pink square is urgent, but urgent and important. The bottom right is not urgent and not important. And then the blue square is not important and urgent. So basically, we want to live in the top right-hand corner. That is the CEO zone. Okay. And then obviously, if it's not important and not urgent, the black zone, we delete that we do not need to be doing any of that. Urgent and important, obviously, we got to deal with that right now. And we can never not have stuff in that category. But the more we spend time in the top right-hand quadrant in the CEO zone, the less hair on fire stuff we're going to have in that pink zone. Okay. And then the lower left-hand corner, that square is not big enough to hold everything that needs to go there. Okay. That is all the stuff you need to delegate. And the stuff that you need to delegate is basically everything that you don't need to be doing, which is you need to be doing the stuff only you can do, the stuff that moves the needle. So that list is going to be huge in the lower left-hand corner. Okay. So I'm going to click through here to just give you some examples of what we're talking about. So what's going to go in that CEO zone? How about phone calls to make joint venture opportunities, writing that really killer sales webinar, getting on stage, delivering a speech, preparing the talk or the speech, creating a new revenue stream, and even exercising. Why did I put exercising there? Well, because exercising is important, but it's not urgent. I was saying this the other day, if you don't get on your treadmill today, you're not going to drop dead. I mean, if you do, it's going to be a coincidence. It's not because you didn't exercise, but if you never, ever exercise or never eat well, then you're going to end up over here in the urgent and important zone with like some serious health problems that you have to deal with. So investing in self-care is also important to do as a CEO. Okay. Now I'll make sure I click on the right slide. All right. So there you go. Now you see in the pink zone, someone is sick. Someone's always going to be sick. Your kid is going to get sick. Your parents are going to get sick. Your dog is going to get sick. You're going to get sick at some point. So again, you're going to have to deal with that. But the more you've taken care of stuff in the CEO zone, the better prepared you are for taking care of everything in the pink zone. You're always going to have to prepare for the podcast or the live stream or something right before you go live, right? There's just certain things you have to do. There's certain opportunity emails. Although your VA actually should be handling your inbox, there's certain emails only you can reply to and opportunities that might be time sensitive that you have to answer immediately. All right. Now for the, Carly, I'm looking, you said the difference between the stuff I can do and the stuff that only I can do is a great test for tasks. Yes. Love all what you guys are saying. I didn't know about this before. Such a great way to organize the day and task. Awesome. Okay. So, scrolling is one of the things we can delete. What else, you guys? Tell me in the chat. Like what are some things that we do that we definitely need to delete? Yes. I'm the number one asset to my business, so I must protect it. All right. What should we delete, you guys? I got you started with scrolling. What else? Procrastinating. I love this phrase. I always have to give my friend, no, Chandra, research. We're going to talk about research in a second. Yep. Chatting in Facebook groups for sure. Overthinking my site. Yes. Procrastinating is when we take that course that you're going to watch or you aren't going to watch. You're going to buy it, not watch it, buy it and watch it, but you don't implement it. And we kind of kid ourselves and say, oh, this is this is helping my business, but like we both know that that's not true. Now there is some learning, like actually what you're doing now, the learning that you've been doing this week, that goes into the CEO zone. Why? Because this is pivotal. Like if you are thinking about hiring a virtual assistant and you are about to make that huge leap, you are working on your business and you are gaining the skills that you need in order to make that happen. So when you go and take inventory of like the stuff that you did and you want to, like today, and you reflect on the day, I want you to put the time that you spent today and yesterday and the day before in the CEO zone. Okay. All right. Back to stuff that we need to delete. So someone said website, like tweaking your website in like meaningless ways that don't really do anything. You can completely get rid of that task. Looking at other people's stuff, like comparisonitis, where you're just, I guess that's what you mean by research. I can't remember who said that. I think that's what you meant by research, and that kind of research, yes, you can get rid of it. But there's really, really valuable research that is one of the most underutilized way to work with a virtual assistant or a task that is underutilized. And we can talk more about that at the end. Just somebody remind me at the Q&A, and I'll go deeper into that. But that's actually a wonderful thing to delegate. Okay, so let's talk about delegating. What can you delegate? Again, this list could be as long as my leg, okay? Checking your inbox, social media postings, customer service inquiries, writing invoices. Just a few. That's just the very, very tip of the iceberg. And we have a list in the workbook. I believe the list is in the workbook of 160. Yes, ordering supplies, video cutting. Philippa says to delete meeting with negative people who steal our time. Yes, ma'am. Let's see here. Oh, and then Philippa says making appointments with clients who aren't our ideal customers. I love that. That's a total waste of time. We definitely need to delete that. Okay. Yes. Video cutting, editing your podcast, all that stuff can be done by a virtual assistant. But back to the list. So there's 160 tasks that we've listed, which again, even that's just the tip of the iceberg, but you want to take a look at that list, if only to get you sort of thinking like, oh yeah, I didn't think I could outsource that. I thought I had to do that. So now that we've taken inventory and we've categorized, we need to understand the value of each daily task. Okay. And by value, I mean the value of the time spent working on the task, the value of revenue generated by the task, the value of opportunity costs associated with prioritizing one task over another. And this is another exercise that we did yesterday. And it's called the Solopreneur Report Card. By assigning values to your tasks, you'll see exactly what you should stop doing and what you should do more of. And this scorecard really helps to illustrate that beautifully, I think. Okay. So we're going to do some analysis. It's really simple math, but simple is my favorite, especially when it comes to math. But it makes it crystal clear that the time that we spend has value, and that value is not the same across the board. By starting each day knowing the value of each task, you'll be able to prioritize your day by working on your highest value tasks, and your revenue will increase exponentially. On the flip side, just by delegating a few hours of tasks each week, your revenue and growth can increase exponentially. And the only thing keeping you from getting there is the person that takes over these low dollar, like $10 an hour tasks. Okay. And this is also in your workbook. So let's just do a quick overview of this. First of all, you want to come up with your daily target of like what your revenue goal is every day. How do we do that? Look at how much money you want to make. Let's just say, instead, since we're already more than halfway through the rest of the year, you can look at how many days are left in the rest of the year and then say, okay, I know that I'm going to be gone, 2 weeks in December. I don't want to work Fridays. Take out all the days that you're not going to work and divide your revenue target by the number of days you're going to work. And that's going to give you a daily revenue goal. Okay. And we're going to try to work with round numbers here to make it easier. But I don't want you to overthink this. This is about the value of the activities, okay, period. So in the first column, we've got $10 activities. In second column, 25, third, 100, and the fourth, 1,000. That is per hour. Now, I always get people that are like, Jennifer, that's ridiculous, $1,000 an hour. I'm never going to charge $1,000 an hour. Actually, in this exercise, I'm going to show you how, that I could easily make that number $10,000 an hour. I could make that number $100,000 an hour and actually have it be realistic. Okay. So what kind of tasks can we find someone to do for about $10 an hour? Okay. Social media posting. Let's say we, but we're doing this stuff. Okay. So let's say we spend an hour doing social media posting. I know that font is kind of small. I hope you can see it. And then we spend 2 hours. We need a workbook link, please, Nika. We spend 2 hours doing email. We spend an hour doing invoicing. We spend an hour in Canva. Okay. Then over here in the $100 an hour task, we spend about an hour doing some copywriting. Now, I know copywriters can cost 10 times that an hour, but you can find someone to do copywriting for $100 an hour. In the $1,000 test category, we spend in our day, this is all one day, okay? We spend about an hour writing our course and an hour planning new revenue, okay? In the first column, so we've spent a total of 5 hours. In the $100 column, we've spent a total of 1 hour that day. And then the 1,000 column, we've spent 2 hours. Okay, so let's look at the total value of our activities that day. So $50, $100, and $2,000. Okay. So the actual is $2,150. That's the value of that day, period. All right. Now watch what happens. I am removing from that first column. I am going to say, you know what? I'm just going to hire someone to do the social media postings and the invoicing, just 2 hours. I'm just going to outsource those 2 hours. And for those 2 hours, I'm going to add 2 hours of sales calls. That's it. And in those two, so just by that alone, I have increased everything by $2,000. So now our actual is $5,130. So here's where I want you to see how this is actually very, very realistic. I mean, the key is, of course, like you've got to use that time. You have to actually use that time. It's not time for you to go, to the beach for 2 hours. In this example, you use those 2 hours very deliberately. And that's why I had so much growth, is that I did use it. I used my time very deliberately. So if you just were to take those 2 hours and get on sales calls, if that's the kind of thing that you do, right? Like if you're a coach and you have discovery calls, in 2 hours, you could easily have 3 or 4 calls. And it would be very feasible that you could, sell one coaching package out of that, out of those 4 calls. And very feasible that could earn you an extra $2,000, right? But actually, it's bigger than that. That's why the number is very realistic. Because let's look at the webinar. If you were to write a webinar to sell that course that you wrote that is so good that nobody knows about because you haven't had time to go out and like do all the things you need to do to get liftoff, if that webinar that introduces people to your program sells $100,000 worth of program, which is, again, not an unrealistic number. We see people do it all the time. We do it in our own business. Then those 2 hours are like incredibly, incredibly valuable. So now you can see how that $1,000 column really, at the end of the day, at the end of the year, when you calculate everything up, could be a $10,000 day. Or in the case of that webinar example, $100,000 day. You know what I mean? So again, I hope you do this exercise. We've got it like as a fillable PDF. We also have like a calculator version of this. Also, we're not going to go over this today, but we're going to give you the link to this if you have it handy, Nika. We sort of added this at the last minute yesterday. It was a calculator that shows you how to calculate the actual value of your time, like hourly, even if you don't charge hourly, because a lot of people don't charge hourly anymore. but it's very important that we actually understand the real dollar amount of our time. And so I want you to use that calculator as well. Someone said, that's my fear, that I won't use those 2 hours. You know what? You will, because you're going to be paying someone. And it's funny how that will motivate you, you know? And I want to talk about that more a little later as well. So now let's talk about secret number 2. To go from struggling solopreneur to successful CEO, you need support to scale. And that means finding and leveraging a dream team of others to support you in your business. Obviously, that is not a secret anymore, especially not today. But leveraging a team allows us to be the visionaries in our business that we set out to be. And if you've ever thought about what goes into building a team before and you haven't done it, it really does seem like a daunting process. There are a lot of things to consider. And also there's this, when you decided to become an entrepreneur, you made the decision that you were leaving that job, right? You weren't going to do that anymore. You weren't going to depend on anyone for your financial success. Like, that's a big part of it. And so bringing somebody on might feel a little bit weird, but again, think about it like this. If you're just self-employed without a team, yes, you are the owner of your business, but you are also the staff, and you just can't grow. It's just as simple as that. So what I found is there's usually 4 myths that people tell themselves that keep them from moving forward with hiring support for their business. And in one way or another, they're all a symptom of feeling like I'm not ready yet. And by not ready, I think what most people are talking about is more than just being a big enough business. I think it's more about feeling like they just don't have it together. They themselves just don't have things running along smoothly enough yet to justify hiring someone. And I liken it to feeling like you need to clean up before the housekeepers get there, like, oh gosh, nobody can really see what's really going on back here. I got to get it together and then I'm going to hire someone. So the 4 myths that solopreneurs tell themselves are: there's no time to hire and train. Maybe you did it before and they left and you had to start over, and you just justify it by not doing it again, and by saying, like, I might as well just do it myself. Or you think you can't afford it. You're going to be so surprised when you understand how affordable it actually is. And there's so many things that I need to get done, but I don't know how to do them. So how would I train someone? Or I don't know what tasks I would even give to a VA. So when I hired my first VA, Nika, who you are all going to meet, Nika is a huge part of my business and very public facing. Like, she live streams all the time in our communities, and everybody in my world knows Nika and adores her. And today's the last day of the workshop, but between now and next week, we're going to be doing lots of like impromptu ask us anything. She's going to do some demos. So you're going to get to meet the lovely Nika. But when I first hired her, almost 7 years ago, I was barely breaking even in my business. I just could not get ahead. And there are many months where I wasn't even breaking even. I was in the red, right? It's that feast or famine cycle that so many of us are too familiar with. But hiring Nika was the first step in my own transformation from solopreneur to CEO. And this step was the turning point that completely changed my business forever. So whatever your limiting beliefs might be, here are some cold, hard facts. Adding a VA to your business can free up to 30% to 50% more of your time so that you can actually focus on growing and scaling. With the addition of a VA, your business can 2x or 3x revenue more rapidly than any other single investment. And I don't think I need to elaborate on that, because I think, I've demonstrated that point repeatedly today. Time and money are equally crucial and necessary investments to make. There's just as much cost associated with not having enough time as there is in not having enough money. When you're able to invest more time in your business, especially by focusing on your highest revenue generating tasks every day consistently, it will always yield more money. So instead of asking, can I afford this? Honestly, a better question to ask is, can I afford not to? And guess what? You can't. So let's do a quick recap before we move on. The system is coming, I promise. To go from struggling solopreneur to successful CEO, there are 3 secrets to scaling your business and building your dream team. Okay. Secrets. Secret number 1, systems to scale, leveraging your time and productivity to focus every day on your highest revenue generating tasks. And then support to scale, leveraging a dream team to support you in your business. And then the third thing that's absolutely critical in tying this all together is streamlining to scale. Streamlining is when you use proven frameworks for every single thing in your business, okay? From operations, hiring, and onboarding. This is what you're looking at as our daily project board, okay? You see daily tasks, weekly tasks, monthly tasks, occasional tasks. Okay, so from operations, hiring and training and onboarding and task delegation to content planning and content creation and a bunch of other things that I'm going to get to in just a little bit. So when you streamline your systems and processes, it's like igniting the engine of a machine that can run on autopilot. The moment you combine these 3 things, okay, systems, support, and streamlining, that is the moment that you can confidently say that you have a business that you own instead of a business that owns you. Okay, a business that you own, not a business that owns you. That is the true definition of what it means to be a front row CEO. And that is exactly why I created Front Row CEO. So what is it? It's the only implementation program of its kind that not only shows you how to hire, train, and manage a virtual assistant, but also how to leverage your new VA to implement and execute those systems inside the business for you. So here's how it works. We start by focusing on setting up your initial standard operating procedures, which, by the way, is so much easier than you think, even if your business is completely disorganized. Okay, this is my special sauce. I am good at this. Then we're going to focus on building your team. I'm going to walk you step by step through my signature system, which you're going to see in a second, of finding the perfect match virtual assistant. And by the way, I mean a trustworthy virtual assistant who is affordable, y'all, capital A, affordable, and aligned with your vision and has the right skill set for your business. And I shouldn't have said capital A. I should have said all caps, like all caps, affordable. I'll show you how to hire your VA. I'll show you how your VA can help you with tasks like compiling and sending out newsletters, managing your social media channels, and creating posts and engaging on behalf of your business. So if you have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, LinkedIn, your VA can interact as your business. They're not pretending to be you. They're interacting on your behalf as your business. Managing your, creating marketing graphics, promoting and editing your podcast, writing and posting blog content, updating your website, creating sales pages and opt-in pages, setting up and scheduling emails, creating lead magnets, brainstorming marketing and promotional ideas, and like so much more, so much more. All of this happens over the course of 4 weeks. By the end of that time, or actually sooner, you will have hired your VA, onboarded your VA, and you'll have your most impactful set of systems in place. Nika, did I miss a question before that? I think it was just a comment. Okay. Okay. Now, if you're like me, when I hear 4 weeks, I'm like, I'm out. Honestly, if you tell me you have a program for me, I'm also out, right? That is a challenge for me as the creator of this program, is because the people who I'm dealing with have no time to take another course. They just want it done for them. Okay. But what I want to tell you is that we've had people at the end of 2 weeks who have already vetted or have already hired and are working with their VA. I'm going to show you a segment. I think I'm going to show you a segment. Nika was going to ask the lady for permission because I just had a conversation with one of our former Front Row CEOs. We were on a call for something else, and she started sharing with me like all about, how quickly she did this. She did it from day one to working every day with her VA. She did it all in 17 days from beginning to end. So it can happen a lot faster than that. But honestly, it's like, the whole teach a man to fish thing. This is so empowering. and you're not going to find a better VA ever than when you do it yourself. But I make it easy for you. Okay. So here are all the ways that we support you in scaling your business and building your dream team with Front Row CEO. So I'll let you glance at that for a second, but I'll break it down for you. But this quick overview is basically you get live expert support. Hello, that's me and my team, but I'm there every step of the way. You also get a training course, and those, again, because I know who you are, because I know who I am, and I know how the only way this is going to work for us is if I make these videos like super duper small. So every training is 5 minutes or less. And it is very like step-by-step plug and play. And then you're going to get all of the templates, checklists, flow charts, scripts. You don't have to think about anything. You just do what I tell you to do. And then, of course, there's a private community. So again, you get these 4 live calls. We call them board meetings. Here's some of our beautiful CEOs. And we don't just stick you in front of those videos. You have direct access to me to guide you throughout the program. And I have to say, like, I'm not bragging, but as an expert in hiring and training VAs, I've yet to come across a problem that I couldn't solve. It doesn't mean I necessarily know the answer right in that very minute, but I bend over backwards to find that answer for you. I answer each and every one of your questions. And if you can't show up for the live calls, because honestly, we do have a lot of people across the world. As you know, we've got somebody in Kenya, from Kenya in here today. We have a lot of people from Australia, our people who live in the future. And the times don't necessarily work, but the great thing is you submit your question in advance. We answer it on the call with a detailed response, and then you get a timestamp directly to your question. So when you wake up, there's the answer to your question, and everybody's happy. So you'll follow a 4-part, easy to follow virtual training program that walks you step by step through the process. Okay. So I want to quickly go over the modules so you can see this. Part 1, laying the groundwork. Part 2, actually the hiring part. Okay. This is really, this is the busiest module, module 2. Then onboarding and managing, because guess what? It doesn't, hiring the person is just the first part, right? Then what are you going to do? You got to stick the landing. You got to make sure that all the work that you did and the time that you invested, makes it work. Like you want to keep this person. They want to keep you. So we go really deep into that and how to make it work, how to manage your team. And then, of course, the systems, the so important systems. So again, part 1, laying the groundwork. So just to give you a taste, this isn't everything that is in the program, in that module, but just to give you an idea, we talk about mindset, what is a system, how to create a system, the process overview, how to choose a project management platform, setting yourself up for success, laying the groundwork, all about safety. And then we talk about safety again in module 2. This is, again, what I told you was so busy. This is just a bit of it, but just to give you an idea, how to keep yourself and your business safe, tax concerns, job posting, setting, like that job posting is literally you copy and paste. We give you the words and you just adjust it with your, your details, but that's how the whole program works. It's templated. Setting up your account with the job posting service. What does the job application look like? Because we have a little process for that. Evaluating the applicants, responding to them. We give these test tasks, which you're going to see when I show you the framework. That's part of why this works so well, is because we vet so thoroughly. Okay. We don't want you to waste your time. And part of that is giving them test tasks. Well, we don't want you to have to think about what that test task is. We have put a lot of time and effort and thought into thinking, like, what is something we can ask someone to do that they're not getting paid for, that has to be super quick, but at the same time is going to show us that they have attention to detail, that they read things all the way through, that they do it in a timely manner. All those things, we've already done that for you. So, and we've made it generic enough that just about any business could use this test task. You just use the task we've created and share it with them. We show you how to evaluate these so it doesn't take a ton of time. We show you how to do your Google Form interview, your Skype or your Zoom interview. How to hire a specialist like a graphic designer. Hiring in the UK, the US, and Canada. Maybe you don't want to hire from the Philippines. We talk about the paid trial week, which you're going to see is another important part of our process, and how to do it and how to set it up, all the steps, how to make the offer, how to get prepared for onboarding when they finally do start, and the never ending task list for your VA in case you're worried that you aren't able to. A lot of people are always so worried that they're not going to have enough to give to a virtual assistant. I have an answer and a solution for that as well. Okay. Because it's very, very common concern. Module 3 is all about onboarding and managing. So secrets to a long-lasting relationship. We talk about our daily VA report. This is how we communicate with each other every day. We talk about what to do when you say, holy crap, I'm not ready yet. Just day to day, what does that look like with your VA? How to make magic together. How to do a 90-day review, an annual review. We talk about the salary model, the bonus, surprising and delighting. And we just added a new tool that shows you exactly how to calculate these bonuses and this and raises and like the rate at which you need to give raises, all of that. We talk about perpetual revenue drivers, which might come up in the Q&A. I can expand on that. But those are basically tasks that you give to your VA that they can always come back to, even if you didn't have work for them that week. It's repeatable stuff that they can do that actually, it's not busy work. It actually is very closely related to affecting the bottom line in your business. Okay. Module 4, the systems. And we give you it's like a systems bonanza. Okay. We give you all of our systems. Other people share their systems. It's, again, a bonanza. I love the word bonanza. Okay. In addition to the live coaching and the 4-part training, you're also going to get all of our templates, checklists, flow charts, copy, cheat sheets, everything. So here it is, y'all. Here's the simplified version of the exact step-by-step process to hire your virtual assistant that is perfect for your business and personality. And this is the overview of that semi-automated process. Now, just so you know, you have all this in your workbook. Okay. So, you don't have to worry about taking screenshots and all of that kind of stuff. You have this in your workbook. Do you have systems for y'all? First of all, make sure you do hashtag question, just especially as we head into the Q&A, just so we don't miss anything. How technical is it to do this? Okay, I want to answer both of these questions real quick. So regarding the first question, first of all, we have tech trainings for any tool that we suggest. Like we use a lot of Google tools like Google Documents, Google Sheets, that sort of thing. If you can copy, if you know how to copy a document, if you know how to use email, you don't even have to have any spreadsheet knowledge, because I'm terrible with spreadsheets because they're already created. So you just need to copy them. That is about as technical as it gets. If you are truly tech phobic and you're just terrified of everything, and you don't really know what Google Drive is or a Dropbox, maybe it could be, that's about as technical as it gets. We've done all the rest of that for you. And as people ask for a training, like they'll say, can you show us how to automate a PayPal payment? I mean, trust me, everything is in there, but if it's not, we create that training for you. So we'll answer you live, but we'll also create a training so it lives inside of our program. So I hope that answered. And then Steve said, do you have any systems for service providers like architects? Well, I can't think of anything that's specific to architect related, except we have a lot of systems that are just helpful to everyone, right? Social media stuff. If you need to do, I mean, why wouldn't you still need to do social media stuff because you want to show off your work. Even if you just did LinkedIn, or Twitter. So you want to showcase all your work and get the word out there. So we have tons of marketing systems, and onboarding your new VA systems and stuff like that. And I want to tell you, just remind me at the end, I'm going to tell you about my cousin, the architect, who has a VA and what he does and how cool it is. Okay. So now let's see here. Oh, let me go back to this. Okay, so let's talk about this real quick. You got your job posting. Then we have this online application. Again, we have that all templated for you. Then there's a pass fail process on that, because have you ever done a job posting somewhere and then all of a sudden you get, 100 responses and you can tell that they did not even read what you wrote, and it's a total waste of your time. It takes forever. And this is where usually people give up. It's just too overwhelming. What we did was we created a system that is like very easy, pass fail. It's like you can easily look and weed out all the people before they ever move to the next step. Then we have an online interview. That is actually, we probably need to change the name of that to like online form interview, because you're not doing this interview. It's really just another form that, okay, they've passed the first hurdle on the online interview. We're going to ask them more deeper questions that will then sort of it will automatically deselect the people who aren't right. For example, if you're working with someone in the Philippines, there's a time zone issue, right? They're ahead of us. And so that matters to a lot of people. Let me put it this way. Some people say, I don't care when they work with me, as long as the work gets done. And a lot of people love going to bed, leaving their work, sending their work out, waking up in the morning, and it's all done for them. Okay. Like while they were sleeping, work was happening while they were sleeping. Some people are like, no, I really need people to work with me 9 to 5. They need to be there. Fine. That's fine. There's plenty of people who do that willingly, tons. Okay. People are happy to do that. Some people are, some people aren't. But in that online interview, if you need those hours and they answer, no, they can't work those hours, but gone, goodbye. Whatever you're asking on that online interview, you can put things in there that automatically eliminate people. Okay. So then they goes to the next step, pass fail. And it's, again, sort of semi-automated. Then, sorry, I was reading the questions. So then that's when the test tasking comes in. Okay. So we're going to give them not paid. So again, it has to be exactly the right task, because otherwise this won't work. It has to be very quick. It has to be something that's going to show you the things that you need to know. And then after that, again, pass fail. Then after that, you can invite them for an interview. After the interview, but guess what happens? By the time you get to this interview, you only have the right people who are fluent in English, people who have all the skills that you were asking for, the people who did all those steps correctly prior to that. So you have screened. So you might start with 200 people. By the time you get to the Zoom interview, you might invite, 6, between 3 and 10 people to interview with you. That's up to you, right? The interview, what always happens is people are blown away. They come back into the community and they're like, oh, Jen, we just had all my interviews and I love everybody. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Now I'm going to have such a hard time picking. And I'm always like, just chill your beans, relax, because this is not the time, right? I'm glad you enjoyed the interview, but what they're so blown away by is that their candidates have bachelor's degrees minimum, many with advanced degrees, fluent in English. Unbelievable. Like they're like, how is this even possible? So it wasn't what they were expecting. Like this, so they're kind of blown away. And so what I say is, now you're going to take your interview people. Some people are going to fail that, maybe not. Maybe everybody from the Zoom interview you love. We put them into a trial week. Okay. It's a paid trial week. And we have the boards all set up. And we give you examples of like how to move through a trial week with multiple people, but it doesn't take you any extra time. I'm not saying this doesn't take you any time, y'all. Like we'll talk about that, but like, okay, you're going to have to invest some time in this, but we have made it as simple. It could not be any more simple than the way that we've made it. But that trial week, oh man, that is it, because and in fact, I'm going to show you a testimonial in a minute. I think I put in the deck of someone who said like they had this super shy person in the interview, didn't do great in the interview, but once they went in the trial week, she was blown away because the person who she thought was going to nail it and kill the trial week and crush the trial week was not at all the person that she ended up hiring. And that is when you find your perfect match virtual assistant. But that is just the beginning, because then you need to, how do you work with them? What are the next steps? How do you onboard them and all of that stuff? So here's a closer look. I don't want to overwhelm you. This actually should be the opposite of overwhelm, because all I'm trying to show you in this slide is that every step of this process has a correlating cheat sheet or script or tool that we've done for you. So that's what I want you to see. There's these correlating stuff. And again, all of this is in your workbook. All right. So I feel like, all right. So the private support community is where you can ask questions and get feedback from me, my team, and your fellow front row CEOs. That's super valuable too, because in this community, so many of you, even in different interests in industries, are going to have similar needs. And what's cool is that, like, you might interview 5 people, put them through the trial week, have a really hard time picking someone because they're all good. So you hire one person, but you have these 3 other people that were great. We have a pool that we keep through every cohort, a pool of candidates who were strong, who had certain skills, and our CEOs, you guys, will add to that and share your comments. And so there's also that fantastic resource. Also, I cannot tell you how many great ideas people get from each other in terms of like tasks to outsource and you know, things to give in the first week of being together. And just it's really a wonderful place. It's very active. Okay, now the complete Front Row CEO training program is valued at $2,997, and with all that's included in this system, you really have everything you need to be successful. But of course, you know I'm going to add some bonuses, because bonuses are fun and everybody loves a good bonus. So in addition to the system, when you join today, you're also going to receive these free bonuses. Okay. Number 1 is all my systems, the templates, everything. Some of them include project planning, live streaming, new member onboarding, inbox management, podcast production, YouTube production. And we're always adding to this. These are going to have you and your VA powering through processes. Number 2 is our Front Row CEO content planning system. This is a complete content creation system that will allow you and your team to create 3 months worth of strategic content for your business in less than 2 hours. There's another part that goes with this that I'm going to show you in a minute, but this is something that we sell outside of this program. And it's very popular because it's not just, I mean, it's a true system, and it's a great way to create content. Then we're going to give you course updates for life. That means you're always going to have access to the newest version of the program and access to all the newest board meeting replays, because stuff changes, you know, stuff changes. But it doesn't stop there. We've got a mic drop bonus. Okay. Are you ready? We're going to train your VA. What does that mean? We're going to give you a program to give to your VA. It's called Front Row VA. And also, hold on one second. Okay, so Front Row VA it's a course that's filled with common onboarding trainings that every VA needs to get started. And in addition to the tech trainings, there's some really rich, in-depth trainings that cover some tough topics that you might not want to talk about with your VA. So we've done the hard work for you. I mean, I'm really trying to build a culture here, which we could talk about in a little while, but we're trying to build a culture. This is not, again, we want you to have someone that is with you for years, not just days or weeks. So we need to talk about like communication. We need to talk with your VA about like the best ways to anticipate your needs. How, hey, if you have a problem, maybe you stop and think of 3 solutions before you go back to your CEO, to the CEO, to say, hey, oh, I can't do this, or this doesn't work. Maybe that, you know, that's just one small thing that we share. Some of the other topics that we include are how to build a trusting relationship, the importance of ownership and accountability, best practices for clear communication, how to be resourceful, how to use apps like Google Drive and LastPass and Trello, plus a whole bunch of other tech tutorials. This is for them. Okay, they get access to this. And if you hire 3 VAs, all 3 of them get this. This is just for all of your VAs. Then we're going to offer office hours. And what I love about this bonus is that Nika created this, and it's been so popular and well received. So after you find your perfect match VA, they're going to be invited to our VA Academy for which is a support group specifically for your VA, where they can ask questions for my own rockstar team of virtual assistants who will host regular live streams, Q&As, and impromptu trainings, all aimed at up-leveling your business. All right, so the total value of that package is almost $2,000. So let's just do a real quick recap of everything we've got so far. We've got the board meetings. We've got the modules. We've got all the cheat sheets and stuff. We've got the community, plus the bonuses that we just discussed. The Power Pack, the content planning system, the course updates for life, we'll train your VA for you. And so that's a value of $6,500. And your investment is obviously not going to be that. Your investment is $19.97 today. But what would it cost you if you tried to learn this yourself? Or I think worse, what would it cost you if you didn't do anything? If you just stayed stuck right where you are right now, not growing, tangled up in the work you aren't supposed to be doing, with no space to move or explore or create or build. So we do have a payment plan, 3 payments of $733, 1 payment of $19.97. This is the other thing I was telling you that went with the content creation system. This is a beautiful hard copy. I sell this on my website. You could take a look at it. There's a video that shows you the inside pages, but this is a hard copy content planner that's going to show up at your front door. Okay. It really is beautiful. Every page it's actually a system. So it's not like every page is the same. You walk through a system, and this is for the full pay option only. So pick the option that works best for you, because in order to scale your business, to systemize your business, and to be able to be the CEO and the visionary in your life and business that you're meant to be, you have to take the first step. And that first step, I think, is investing in this program. I really believe in this program, obviously. And, you know, I shout it from the rooftops because it has helped so many people. I have a ton of case studies and testimonials. In fact, Nika, will you put a link to the testimonials page, the case study page? Because what we've done is we've broken down all the case studies and testimonials by industry. Because you might be thinking, well, that would work for her, but I own a bakery, or like I think it was Steve, I'm an architect. Like, will it work for someone like me? The answer is it's going to work for having a VA will work for anyone, because it's anything that can be done on a computer and saved to the cloud is something that a VA can help you with. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear this. Tell me if you can hear it.
This course is
Can y'all hear it?
The #1 game changer in my business for this year, and I believe in the past 5 years, because now I can execute on the strategy. Now I can be in my zone of genius. I've read all the books that talk about it, but to actually live it is a different story. So this course is life-changing.
Okay. I'm not going to read them all, I promise, but because you can read them yourself. But let's see here. So Nicholas says, I just want to jump in here with a share. And by the way, these are unsolicited, and I get emails every single day, or someone will tag me on a social media post. Obviously, it makes my day, but I want you to see this. So Nicholas says, I just want to jump in here and share a win. A few months before the pandemic, my mom was diagnosed with cancer. She's recently stopped treatment. Now that restrictions have lifted, I'm traveling 600 miles back and forth as much as I can to spend time with her while she's still with us. I started a writing prompt practice a while back, and it often starts with "Today I'm grateful for." My entry today was being able to travel to see my mom and work less than an hour a day, if that, and still have my business not just run, not just run smoothly, but grow. And that is 1,000% down to the Front Row CEO and my fabulous VAs. I've just taken on another full-time VA. 90% of the hiring and onboarding has been excellently handled by my first VA. I want to tell you that as well. That is what I want you to do, is that when you go through the system one time, I only want you to do it one time, because then your VA can then watch the program. They have total access to it. And then when it's time to add people to your team, your VA is going to do it. Now, you may want to show up when it's time for the interviews, but there's no reason why your VA can't successfully get as far as that. And you don't have to deal with it again. So Miriam, let's hear what Miriam says.
I was so thrilled with Jen's program, Front Row CEO. I just wanted to jump in and record this video to let you know how worth it this course was. I have only hired, up until this point in my business, in-person people to come to my house where I pretty much micromanage them. And with the whole COVID crisis, both of my employees had to work remotely. One of them was not able to work remotely at all. And I used Jen's complete system for hiring a virtual assistant. It was just came in the nick of time for me, thank God. She's thought of everything in this program. There are contracts, there are email templates, everything step by step by step. You really don't have to think, you just have to execute it. And all the different objections that I had about hiring somebody remotely, she has it taken covered, from how to use software for timekeeping, how to vet them properly, how to find them, what to pay them, how to bonus them. Everything is taken care of. It is so amazing. And that's only about half of it. The other part is really how to create all these systems. So I feel like my journey with this program has just begun. I just made an offer to my perfect match VA. I couldn't be more excited.
And Miriam is still with her VA, and it's been like 2 years. And then someone said, can this program be started anytime? That is later, or would it need to be started right away? It could be started. This is a great question. You could start it whenever you want. And in fact, everybody who, as soon as you purchase today, you could get started right away. But you could definitely take this at your own pace, for sure. Is there a minimum amount of hours you have to commit to weekly? It really depends. No, you don't have to commit to anything. I think when you start the process, however, so let's say when you do your job posting, you don't want to wait and put a week or two in between that, because once you start, it's like one of our graduates said, it's like being put in a machine and being spat out at the other end, because it's like when you get on those sidewalks at the airport, you're going to get on and I'm going to say, do this, now do this, now do this. So you're going to have momentum. It's not going to be one of those programs that just sits on the shelf that you don't get to. Let's see here. This person, Tulane, she's in the UK. She sent me this because she saw that I was launching, came out of the blue. She said, hey, Jen, just want to say a big good luck with your launch. If you need any help, let me know. Your program really, literally revolutionized my business. It gave me space to birth the program I had been considering for 2 years. It gave me space to get the help me and my business deserved. It's given my VA so much too. She declared she was able to take her family for dinner and foot the bill for the first time ever. I'm giving her a pay raise too, as she's phenomenal. And it's thanks to you. Just thought I'd share the ripple of impact doing your course has for me. You guys just go look at the testimonial page. Like, don't listen to me. Just look at what they're saying. This was just a couple of days ago. So this person tagged me on social media, and what she was doing was bragging on her team. She's like, she said, I would like to extend my eternal and utmost gratitude to you for your hard work and relentless efforts these past few weeks. Your dedication allowed us to successfully fully start many projects. So she took a picture of her VAs and she posted it on there. And a lot of people will tag me on posts like that, like their anniversary posts and that sort of thing. It completely, it makes my day. This person, Nyota, says 42 folks applied. This vetting system is better than Jack's Magic Beans. Man, this is so awesome. Okay, this came very recently. This is an email, so we scratched out the person's name because it wasn't on social media. Says, thanks for this. Oh, I know. She was saying thanks because I sent, as you will find in the program, I will often send you, we'll create new things or updates, and then we send you an announcement that's like, you've got a new goodie, in the program. And we sent out we had taken our daily check-in sheet and turned it into a spreadsheet because someone else had done that and shared it with us, someone who graduated from the program. I was like, this is such a great idea. We gotta, can we share that with everybody? They said, yes. We sent an email. So she says, thank you. I just also wanted to say that your course was one of the best investments I've made in my business and in myself. My schedule was so crazy and unsustainable before taking your course that if I hadn't discovered it, I'm not sure whether I would have continued. Remember how I was so scared of hiring a VA back then? And I even had several hiring horror stories to share. Using your process, I found 3 great VAs, 2 of whom I work with on a single project basis when I need extra help. One of the VAs I found, Sarah, works even better than I'd imagined. I think she has the potential to be a Nika. Thanks to her help, I've launched a couple of courses much more easily, finished my book, and sold out on the first printing of 1,000 copies. I don't have social media headaches anymore, and I'm so impressed at how her tech, social media, graphic design, and copywriting skills are continuously improving. What's best of all is her attitude. I can see how much she truly cares about the business and she wants to grow. I mean, come on. And this is an example that I was telling you about of someone who tagged me on an anniversary. It says, it's been a whole year with my amazing VA and general superstar. And she said, extra shout out to Jen Lehner, who helped me unlock exactly what I needed to find someone like this. And I get tagged on these all the time, 2-year anniversary, 3-year anniversaries, even 4-year anniversaries. Okay, one more, and I'm going to stop reading. Okay, so Andrea says, this has been a whirlwind, but I have a VA. I have interviewed 6 candidates and took 2 into a trial last week. One candidate was really bubbly. Oh, this is what I was telling you about the introvert, the shy person. One candidate was really bubbly and chatty and had the right background. I loved her and thought she was the one. The other one was very shy in the interview, but mentioned more relevant skills and has a master's degree in science. This person is in the science field, so that was awesome. I threw everything at them in the trial week: checklists, processes, designing in Canva, making Google Sheets, compiling testimonials. That's another one, compiling testimonials, formatting edited files, and writing a blog post. Both did a great job in the trial week, but the shy candidate did better overall. She completed more tasks, communicated well with me, paid better attention to my instructions, and asked relevant questions about the tasks, especially the tricky bits that I added to see how they'd cope. I am blown away by the talent available, and I'm hiring the shy candidate who is no longer shy, but now seems confident and excited to join my team. Even better, my long-term plan is to help her become a junior editor so she can grow and develop and use her scientific knowledge. Thank you for guiding me through this process, Jen and Nika. Okay, so you guys can read all these, but I just feel like I'm going to bore you to tears. And I'm also—
There were 2 really big—
not going to play that. I'm not going to play. This is the conversation I was telling you that I had the other day, but I haven't heard back from Catherine. Have you heard back from Catherine, Nika, to see if we could use permission? No? Shake your head like this. Okay. Thank you. So we haven't gotten permission, so I'm not going to share it, but I can summarize and just say that Catherine did this in 17 days. She's at the beginning of her business. She is moving from being an attorney to having a program that is all about mindfulness. And so she's a coach. I think she's created some programs, and this VA that she has hired has like just taken the ball and run with it, has done all her social media, helped her with her website, if not set up her website. Just really everything so that she could focus on just being profitable right from the beginning, which, I thought was pretty amazing. This is what it looks like. If you haven't already gone to the testimonial page, and it's sorted by industry. Want to let you know that I feel so confident about this program. And I've got your back, and I'm going to walk you through every single step of the turnkey process. But because I'm so confident about this program, I have no problem offering you a 30-day, 100% money back guarantee. Because I know you're not going to refund, because I know you're going to come and you're just going to be like, holy crap, this is the best program I've ever taken. And maybe you showed up today because you're scared, like I was. You need to take the next step to hiring a VA, but you are scared to take the leap, or you feel stuck. You're either so busy with clients and customers, like you're maxed out and you've hit a ceiling, or you just haven't been able to get liftoff and you aren't really making any money, at least not routinely. And you want to show up as the CEO in your business. You're ready to scale things up and see your vision become a reality. So you have two options, really. Number one is to stay where you are. You keep doing everything yourself. And by the way, that is fine. You know, I was telling the story the other day. I have a colleague who she's a brilliant coach, and she's like, Jen, I don't want a social media. I don't want any help. I left corporate because I hated managing people, and I know I'm not going to grow, but I'm like, all right, with Steady Eddie, I'm all right. As long as I could keep making the same amount of money and just keep it going, then I'm good where I'm at. So maybe that's you. Okay. But if you want to grow, then your only other option is to 100% commit to hiring a VA and systemizing your business. Whether you do it with my program or whether you try and take a stab at it yourself, that pretty much is what it boils down to. But I think right now is the right time for you. I think if you're saying to yourself, I don't have the time, number one, you can do this at your own pace. But number two, more importantly, like if you don't make time for this, you will not have time for anything. Okay. If you don't make time to hire and get some help and stop being a lone ranger, then you're not going to have time for anything. So I encourage you to make this commitment for yourself, for your family, for your business, and take the next steps to scale your business by joining me in Front Row CEO. So when you sign up, and I'm going to check and see who signed up because I'm going to put your names on the bulletin board behind me. You're going to see these options on the sales page, the payment plan or the one-time payment. Then you're going to be taken to this checkout page, and then you're going to see this confirmation page, and you could click the login button right there. But check your email, because you're going to see an email from me, and make sure you white label it so you don't miss any more emails. And you're also going to see an email from Kajabi with your login credentials. Save both of those emails. And Kajabi is the platform where the course is housed. It's beautiful. And this is what your login looks like. And then when you log in, you're going to see the program. You could start right away. But you're also going to see some bonus programs that I didn't even mention today. Very important. I only really want you to focus on the Front Row CEO program right now. The other extras that I put in there are going to come in handy later for you and your VA. So you just focus on Front Row CEO. Okay. I can't start that timer. Nick, are you able to click that little timer and make it start so I don't have to come out of the slide deck? And hold on real quick, because I'm going to move my thing here, and then we're going to answer some questions. Can you see this? Look. Okay. Now let's look at some questions. Does it work on your end, Nika, if you click the timer? It doesn't matter if it doesn't work. Okay. No problem. We don't need to start the timer. Because I'm really just going to stay here till all the questions are answered. How long is the private support community open to us? For the duration of the program. And then you have an opportunity to stay in there later. Like I invite you at the end of the program, like after the last board call, I invite you back in, but you always get support. You will never not have live support, because inside the program, if you've ever used Kajabi, whenever you comment under the video, under any lesson, we get an automatic notification that you did so. And we go in there as fast as we can, and we give you a response. So we're really fast with our follow-up. Unless we're asleep, you're going to get a response from one of us in answer to your question. How do you keep your password secure? We like a program called LastPass, and we show you how to use that, and allows you to, and what's so great about that is your VA can log into any program or even access your credit card, like if you want them to, without ever seeing any information. So they'll never see your password, but they're able to log in through this system. And then if for any reason that VA is no longer with you, you can disconnect them from everything in your business with one click in just a few minutes. Keep the questions coming. What days are the live trainings? So I think that's on my next slide, actually. Whoops. It is not on the slide. So Nika has that info. It's Tuesdays at like 11, but I was just going to show the dates. I thought it was on the slide deck. Sorry about that. Did you put it in the comments, Nika? Okay, it is in the comments. So maybe we could put it on the screen. I do not see it on the comments. Anyway, that'll be popped up on the screen in a minute. Okay. Let's see. What other trainings do we have? I mean, questions do we have? I lost. I'm curious about how much money I need monthly on hand to start for VAs and ads and other costs. I don't want to have any more reasons not to start, but money matters a lot. Absolutely. Money's always it's a factor, right? Business is all about dollars and cents. Great question. So first of all, to place the ad, when I say ad for your like job posting, you don't pay for the ad. You do have to pay, I think it's $49 or $69 for the service that we recommend, like where you're going to post it. But that's a one-time fee, and then you cancel it. I mean, it's monthly, but you don't need monthly because you're only going to need it for like a week. So that's $69. If you sign up for LastPass, that's an added cost. But you know what? Everybody needs LastPass or 1Password or some sort of password protection anyway. So everybody should have that. In terms of your actual virtual assistant, so let's talk about that. So the examples that I gave you today showed like about $10 an hour tasks. The truth is, when you start looking, you're going to see that there's a place on our online application where we ask them like how many hours they want to work every month. I mean, what their hours are that they're able to work part-time or full-time, what the monthly salary is that they hope to earn, because that is typically how people in the Philippines talk about payment. They don't talk about their hourly rate. It's more about like what their monthly take home is. So then we ask them to divide the days they work by we have them do this formula, which basically gives an hourly rate. What happens is that hourly rate ends up being very low. Like, and even if you go and you search for VAs online in the Philippines, you'll see people saying like $2.50 an hour, $3 an hour. We don't do that. I am not about trying to find the cheapest labor. That is not what my program is about. And I really want I want everybody to hear this very clearly, because this really differentiates this program from just about anything else that is out there. And that is this. Yes, we are leveraging a foreign exchange rate. So you might start at about $5 an hour. Okay. We're leveraging this foreign exchange rate. So because most of us are small businesses, having someone 40 hours a week at $5 an hour is affordable. Okay. And I'll be honest, if you can't afford, if you can't afford $5 an hour at $40 a week, 40 hours a week, then, it might be that your business, maybe you're in the wrong business, because everybody should be able to afford that, is what I would argue. Now, it's okay if you can't. That just might mean that either, you need to adjust some things in your business or, I don't know what, but if you're a business, this is extremely affordable. However, you can always do 20 hours a week as well. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in a minute as well. So anyway, very, very inexpensive. But we don't stay there. What I teach you in this program, because again, we want people who are going to stay with us for years, who are really going to feel like they have ownership in our program, in your business. And one of the most, it's such a small thing, but one of the biggest moments in my professional life, in my business, came when I was working with Nika in the early days, and she wanted to show me something on the website. And she referred to it as our website. She's like, Jen, I just think on the about page on our website. And I was like, did she just say our? I like, it was such a moment for me. It was really such a huge moment. And that's what I want for you. I want somebody who's going to be your partner, who's going to be in business with you. So how do you do that? You start to, as soon as you start making more money, your VA starts making more money. All right. So we show you how to do that. You're going to start turning the knob up. You're going to start paying them more as you grow. Okay. And then we also show you how to give bonuses that makes sense for you and your business. For example, if you have a product launch and you reach a stretch goal or you just do really well, after that launch, you can give your VA a nice bonus and say, wow, like, look at what we did. Yay. Here's a nice bonus. So I give you all the ideas and how to do that. But so important in how we think about this, because so many people do not understand how this works. Can you talk a bit more about the employment taxes? That sounds like these people should be on W-2s. Nope, none of that. So you'll need to talk to your tax accountant to figure out how, because I don't want to give tax advice in terms of like how you're going to categorize it. But because there is one form that we give you in the course, which the name escapes me right now. And again, I'm not a tax person, but there's a form that you can just keep on file that basically says, like, if there were ever any questions, that you show that this is a foreign person. They are not in the United States. So there's no W-9 for them to fill out or anything like that. Also, they're not technically employees because they're not. That means that you aren't obligated to pay health insurance or sick leave or any of that stuff, or the taxes. So, but we set it up the way that I show you how to set up your relationship, your working relationship with your team is you're getting, it all sounds like employer employee, because I do talk about sick leave and vacation days and all of that. But this is something that we've created. This is not, number one, the norm. It is not, meaning like I'm teaching you to be the most excellent person to work for, like the most excellent person. So you're changing lives, they're changing your life. And like the only way to do that is to be like excellent. And I show you how to do that, because guess what? You can leave this webinar right now. You can go to Fiverr, you can go to these Philippine websites, and you could start looking and you could start hunting and, and all of that, and you could find like super inexpensive person to work with. But like, if other things aren't put into play, odds are that it is just not going to work. I mean, maybe you have been in this situation before where you hired and the person just disappeared. They just ghosted you. Like one day they were there and one day they weren't. What happened? Hello, where did you go? Or, work starts to get sloppy. And, I am on a mission to, set more people up in these successful relationships, because it changes lives, these successful working relationships that honestly end up becoming a bit deeper than that. I mean, I'm supposed to be at Nika's wedding in October. She even included me like in the wedding. I think I would even be wearing like a special colored dress, but I can't go, unfortunately, because I have a conflicting important event with my son that very same weekend. But the point is, I mean, and our CEOs tell us stuff like this all the time, like how, they went in and they of course had the expectation that they would find someone that they could work with, but they didn't expect all the other beautiful things to unfold that have unfolded. Thank you very much for that, Magdalene. Does it make sense to hire people for different tasks, specialized tasks? So maybe have 3 people each for 10 hours. You can do that, but let's talk about that for a second. Okay. So here's the thing for specialized tasks. So like I have a 20-hour a week video editor. Okay. So that is part-time, but she's so good that even if I don't have videos for her, I am paying her 20 hours a week. I'm guaranteeing her 20 hours a week, whether she's doing videos for me or not. That sounds crazy. Okay. But I know like she's so talented that that's worth it to me to just sort of have her there ready for when I, get better at batching my content. It's my worst I'm not good at that. So, meaning like creating 4 videos at one time. That's what I need to be doing, but I'm not so great at that. But here's the bottom line. Like for specialists, I can see how that makes sense, especially because you just might not need some people all the time. But it's like, if you're going to do 10 hours, like just guarantee them those 10 hours. So whether they work or not, so they'll stay in your orbit. But when you're talking about like your main general VA, I always say, like, the sooner you could get to full time, the better you're going to be. It just makes sense, right? Because if they don't have to go look for other clients, they can just focus on your business. But they cannot tell you that, and you can't expect them to say that they will if you can't give them the security of them being able to count on the same amount of money every week. So we talk about that in the program because it's not something that happens immediately. Like nobody should feel that they need to do that. It's just thinking out long term, looking out ahead. It could be a year after you start working together, but I like for people to get to that place. And you know what? The CEO ends up being happier because they don't have to micromanage time anymore. And remember, we're talking about your perfect match virtual assistant. It's not somebody who you have to second guess that they might be padding their hours or something like that. And honestly, what I have found is your team will work more than 40 hours for you. They will work more than what you are paying for them because there's this mutual trust that gets built, and they really want they want to do a good job for you. So, is there another payment plan? There's the 3 payment plan. That is it. Oh yeah, I love this. So e-commerce people, so you said, I'm glad I trained my VA to set up and optimize my Amazon advertising campaigns because that quickly paid for itself. There you go. I mean, there's so much. And in fact, people will start, once they get their team in place, people will start a second business that can just be operated by VAs, which, e-commerce or an Etsy store, that sort of thing, very process driven, very easy to systemize. So, that's something to think about as well. All right, let's check our people who have purchased because I want to welcome you in. And Nika is sending them over to my printer. So I'm going to stick them on the board. Okay. And keep the questions coming. All right. Welcome, Kala. Oh, that's Suchi. I know I'm not saying your name right. It's Suki, or tell me how to pronounce that, but welcome. And Nika sent me some more. Let's put them up here. Lindsay. Whoopsie. Let's see. Anika, you can unmute if you need to tell me anything. I had it right. Sushi, not Suki, not Suki, not Suchi, not Suchi, not Suki, Sushi. I'm sorry. Okay. Yay. You can get started right away. Our first call is going to be August. Our welcome call is August 24th. I hope that's right. Becky, welcome to Becky. Let's see, questions. Okay. Oh, thanks, Nika, for making that. We could turn this off too. Let's see, I think we could just do this so we can see. And I have some balloons that are dying. I think so. All right. You can't see Suchi's name. Brienne, welcome, Brienne. Brienne. Oops. Oh. Questions. Okay, Suchi. Got it. Okay. Do we have to purchase today? I would like to read the workbook again and go over. No, you don't have to purchase today. You have until Tuesday at midnight, I think. And thanks for asking that question. We're gonna do some fun stuff between now and then. I think Nika and I are gonna do a demo. If you're on the email list, you'll get emails about this, but we're gonna do a demo of like how Nika works with your VA, like, because she has this VA Academy where VAs that come through, CEOs who come through our program and hire VAs. So it's ongoing. So she's been doing this for a while, and our whole team, and they get questions submitted. They go in and they do trainings, impromptu live streams. And so we want you to see what that looks like. And we're going to do some office hours in Zoom. So you'll be able to just pop in. And if you have any like individual concerns, ask us questions and all of that. We got some more people to welcome. Janet, welcome. Welcome, Janet. Tanya. Oh, Tanya. Okay. All righty. If y'all need to go, I understand. I just want to keep doing this. I'm going to stick around for any questions. I'm going to keep checking, but this is pretty much the end of the show. I'm just going to keep, as the sales come in and you guys join, I am going to put them up here. I want to welcome you. We're going to welcome you in the group as well. Yeah, so make sure you'll get prompted to come over to the community, and we'll let you in, and we'll get cracking. Okay. Tanya and Sarah. Are you here, Sarah? Is Sarah here? Sarah Mann, welcome. Nancy, welcome. Okay. Is our architect still here? So I was going to tell about how my cousin, the architect in New York, works with my cousin is an architect. He works with a VA, and he's in New York. And what he does is so brilliant. He's been working with her for years. And what he's able to do is go out and meet clients. And then when he goes to meet the clients, I guess he does measurements, some preliminary measurements, takes pictures. And then from there, he emails them to his assistant. And then he goes to the next client, and then he goes to the next client, right? And then all along, he's emailing his assistant the drawings and the measurements. The assistant is then putting everything into AutoCAD or whatever the tool is that they use, and then turns it around in like a day. So all the clients that he meets with thinks that he has this like superpower, that he's able to get this stuff done so fast, but he's able to turn over so many more. He's able to help so many more people because he's got this, magical person who is helping him so much. And if you think about it, that's an interior designer or a contractor, or like anybody can do a similar process where, you know, you're doing your thing and then you shoot off whatever that preliminary material is, and they start making the client onboarding packets and entering the person into the CRM and sending those first welcome emails and all of that stuff that is a headache for you to do. Jason Silverman. Hey. So y'all can't really see these ones that are down low. This isn't actually a great setup. These are too big. I need to. Jen, welcome. Best decision for signing up. Congratulations, choosing yourself, as James Alter said. Thank you, Isabel. Yes, Isabel is one of our CEOs, former CEOs. Welcome, Isabel. Thank you for those kind words. Okay, I'm gonna have to print these off smaller or get a bigger board. But I guess that's it. I actually have a doctor's appointment, so I'm going to be headed out. Can't wait to see you guys on the inside. And we'll be, you'll still be getting, if you want, you'll still be getting emails from us. Obviously, if you don't want emails anymore, opt out, and we'll stay in touch. And I hope to see you on the inside. Thank you. Thanks everybody for joining us today.